Welcome to FetCast. This is your host, KingHulk, and with me today is...
TheGovernHer. Or the Gov, whatever. Most people go by Gov. Short. I would imagine. It's kind of lengthy.
I want to thank you today for tuning in this week's episode. Knight is taking the week off. Well, she didn't take it off. I just decided to record with someone else. I won't tell her, though.
I feel privileged. Thank you.
You should. She doesn't know I'm recording this right now with you.
Yes!
In fact, I'm not even going to let her know you're hosting this one until it's up.
Surprise, surprise!
Think she's pissed?
No, I wouldn't think so.
So before we start with this episode, I want to give a shout out again to True Kink Podcast. They continue to show their support and help us out, and we'd like to return the favor.
I don't have any shout-outs.
You got no shout-outs?
I've got nothing. This is all new to me.
Well, you've recorded before.
Yep. I just don't have... I would say like mom and dad, but you know what? I don't think this is something they would listen to.
Are you sure? We could send them a copy if you want.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We can...
So let's give a little backstory, because the listeners do not know who you are.
Okay.
Unless they already know you personally.
Alright.
But keep in mind, right now our biggest demographic is California.
Sweet.
So, hello to Cali.
I've been out there a couple times. It's a nice place.
So how long have you been in the lifestyle?
It's been almost 3 years. Not quite, but almost.
And how have those 3 years been treating you?
Not bad, honestly. Learned a lot of new things, gone to a lot of events, and had some pretty fun experiences and things I like. Still learning. So far, it's been fun. I mean, I can't say I've really had any complaints.
Now, before you really got into the lifestyle, what did you think of the BDSM community by itself?
That's an interesting question, because more or less I didn't really have much thought about it, honestly. It never really even crossed my mind. It was just something that, well, let's be honest to the fans here, or the listeners of the show, you introduced me to it, okay? So by doing so, it was just introducing me to a whole brand new thing, a whole brand new scheme of things. I wouldn't say scheme, but just a whole new life, I guess, so to speak. And it's been fun, honestly. I can't say that I've regretted not doing it.
I regret introducing it to you the way that I did.
It was a little brutal. It was a little rough.
I took the Band-Aid off really quick on you.
Yeah, on a very hairy patch of skin.
Pretty much I waxed your pubes on this one.
The undercarriage.
And I was a bit of a dick about it, too.
I wouldn't say that.
I knew what I was doing before it happened.
Well, yeah, he probably did. But...
Like, I played the pronoun game with you. Or not really pronoun game. But we were going to a movie, right?
Yep, it was Sherlock Holmes 2, A Game of Shadows.
Yeah.
I remember vividly.
Do you remember much of the movie?
I remember, I still own the movie, just because I'm more of a completist, or a semi-completist at least, but...
You still don't own The Incredible Hulk, though.
I don't. But it wasn't so much that the evening itself deterred me from the movie. The movie itself was just kind of not as good as the first one.
My issue with that movie was there was no case.
It was just hard to follow.
It was a chase movie, but still no case. Anyway, Besides that, I told you that we were seeing it with a friend.
Yeah, I remember that. Actually, we can even go a little bit further. You came into work, I was working, and you asked if I want to go see the movie afterwards, after work. And I said, yeah, sure. And
you asked who we were seeing it with.
Yeah, I did.
And I said, a friend of mine, you don't know her.
And then that kind of...
And you being you,
yeah.
Whenever you find out of any sort of female friend that I have, you always follow it up with a question.
Yeah.
And what is that question?
I don't want to say, did I ask if she was single, but I was like, the interest beacon kind of
you always
went
ask
off in my head.
You always ask a question that can help you determine, is she bringing anyone? Or
yeah, something up the line.
Does she have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
And I told you she does have a boyfriend.
You did, I think.
Yeah, I did. And you asked, were we meeting him at the theater? I said, well, we gotta go to her house and pick her up.
Okay, I remember this part.
Yeah. We get to the friend's house.
Yes, we do.
She comes out, gets in the car.
But there's no guy.
Yeah, and well, where's the boyfriend? I kept playing the game to where it was like, I think I said like, oh, he'll be at the movies. Not a lie.
True.
And so we get to the movies, we go in. It's just the three of us sitting there. And you go, so where's the boyfriend? And then what?
I'm not even sure if I remember exactly happening like that. I just remember the thing that sticks out with me is that you just started kissing her or you kissed her. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Can I? I'm not sure if can I cuss on the show?
You can cuss.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was just like, well, I'm not sure what the people know about you, but do they know that what your status is?
Yes,
okay.
they know.
Well,
the woman we are talking about is Knight.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there like, is he really cheating on his wife or his fiance? I'm just like, what? Really? What the hell? I was getting pissed. I just wanted to get up and leave, and I remember actually just
you got up and you moved across the aisle.
Did I? I thought I might have moved down.
Yeah, you moved down.
But I remember before even doing that, I was just like, don't talk to me for the rest of the movie. Don't even.
I remember saying I'm not cheating on Bambi. I remember saying those words. I thought it would be hilarious. And keep in mind, the whole time this is happening, this is before we got active in the lifestyle the way we are now. That was back when we were just doing a triad thing before going to Munches and everything. This was how we were starting out, and I thought it would be funny to introduce the governor here to the girlfriend by surprising it on him at the start of a
baptism by fire.
Yeah. I threw you into the deep end of the pool really quick. And if I recall, you didn't speak to me for a while after that.
I just remember the initial incident of the movie. Much of anything afterward, I don't remember too much other than the next... Once all the awkwardness got leveled out and taken care of, I just remember the next big thing was going to my first munch and really feeling like I've never been to one of these before.
And this had to have been like a year later?
I don't know if it was a year later.
Because it was after I started going to Munches.
Yeah.
Sherlock was, what, a December movie?
Might have been.
My first one, I want to say, was a June munch.
Mine was in October. So I guess
I started that summer, so...
I guess that really wouldn't make sense then if I started in October and then the movie was December.
No,
Unless it was a year.
Yeah, it was closing in on a year because I didn't start going to Munches until we were already in another relationship after Night.
I remember I had to go through a trial phase.
Oh, wow, you're coming up on 3 years this year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I had a rough trial phase on FET. Probably that first year, just because... I don't know, you see it quite a lot on there, where you have these new people who come in, and they have these... I don't want to say I was one of the people who had the expectations of, people, I don't want to say flocking to you, or it was just it's kind of hard to say, but I really just wasn't, it's hard to explain really. It was a rough trial run. I remember the whole initial thing was for me to get out and meet new people, which it has, and so in that, it's been great. But the first initial year, I just remember I was struggling there for a bit, and then you would actually have people that you knew try to get in contact with me. And
we have a new rule where we don't do that anymore, right?
Well, this was different. It was more or less they were doing it to kind of get an idea of how my profile was set up. There was I wish I could say it was constructive criticism, but it really wasn't. It didn't come back to me. It came back to you, and then you kind of relayed it back to me. She says, like, oh, his profile is kind of depressing. I don't know why I would want to get to know a guy who's kind of like this. Because, in all honesty, I don't have that much luck with women. I don't. I'm honest about it. And your initial idea was to bring me into the lifestyle so that I can go out and meet new people. But I guess in the beginning, I realized I did have to change some things to make this work, so to speak.
Yeah, so you made the appropriate changes and created kind of what I would call more of like a more robust profile.
It's more fleshed out, and I'll be completely honest, I did have some help from a friend who actually helped me out create the profile. Kudos to her, and thank you.
When I created my profile, KingHulk was not my first name.
Well, the governor wasn't mine either.
Yours was your initials and your birthday.
It was lame, but it was more or less because I got so fed up trying to come up with a name that wasn't already taken, and I was just like, just get something on there to get the page up.
There's actually somebody that I'm friends with on Fet, because there had to have been a story behind it when I saw it. But his screen name was Oh For Fuck's Sake. I sent him a message asking him about his name. I'm like, how did you come up with Oh For Fuck's Sake? He said, well, when I was creating my profile, every username I would type in was taken, and I got pissed off, typed out Oh For Fuck's Sake, and it was accepted. Like, I got KingHulk because before that I had a horrible Fet name.
Oh.
Shut up.
What was it?
I'm going to get to that.
I want to remember. I want to see if I can remember.
It was a horrible name, and one thing I find out, like, there's a difference between having a screen name and having a name that you can say in munches, which this would be a useful tip toward people who are deciding on a screen name. You can only change it, like, every 29 days.
I think I remember it now.
So when you pick a screen name, keep in mind there may become a time when you actually have to say your name aloud to people. Maybe you're at a munch that asks you to stand up and say your name. The name I went with, because I grew up in the 90s, I grew up with like instant messengers. Screen names were allowed to just be whatever, because you're only looking at it as a word, as a shape. So my first Fet name that I went with, Natural Instinct 85.
Yeah, that's what I remembered.
Yep.
I don't know why the movie comes to mind.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah, I was like, it's got some connotations to it.
It does, because that was when I was still learning about everything, and it's more like, I love sex. It's an instinct to me. Natural instinct. I went with it. And how did I go from that straight to KingHulk?
I think so.
Because I got to the point where I was going to a lot of munches, and I would not want to say that name out loud. I'm going to change it. And this is the one thing I don't like about Fet. When you're entering...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got KingHulk because I was just trying to figure out a name. So I go in and I typed in KingHulk. It immediately got changed to it because it wasn't taken. I was expecting it to tell me that it was available. So if you want to search for a name, search for that username first on Fet, see if it's available. Because I was planning to like spend an hour just typing in different names and coming up with it. And I settled on KingHulk because it was the first one available.
Now, didn't you have an interesting little story with a friend of ours who did something with your name?
Yes, another lesson. If you come up with a funny Fet name, do not, as a joke, decide to change your name to that for a month. Because I was just having a Fet conversation, probably through my own status updates, and I thought, you know what would be a funny Fet name? Splooge McFuck.
I'm not even sure if...
No. I said Splooge McDuck. And then someone else said McFuck. And I went, it'll be funny. Change my name to Splooge McFuck. It'll be funny for 29 days. I thought it would be hilarious. Which I still stand by. That is a solid username and a solid joke name. But for that 1 month, it was a few hours later after I changed it, I came to the realization that someone could be a dick and create the name KingHulk under a different profile, and then I would never get it back. And as I got on my computer to create a dummy profile with the name KingHulk for the month that I was stuck with Splooge McFuck, I got a friend request from KingHulk in the same location that I am, same age as I am, except I believe they made my orientation gay, and made me...
Weren't you a little too?
No, made me a sub.
Oh, okay.
And my immediate thought was, I'm pissed because it literally looks like they're trying to be me but change everything about me. And in my head, I was thinking, who have I pissed off? And I think I texted you first.
Yeah, you thought it was me first.
You were the first one I went to. And then in my head, I'm thinking, all right, who else would do it? I had someone else in mind, but I was thinking, I don't think they would do that.
I wouldn't have gone all through that in-depth problems and all that stuff to do it. It was too much work.
So I hopped on Facebook to talk to someone that's in the lifestyle. They were my go-to person for advice. And they're talking to me, and I send them the link, and they just find it fucking hilarious. And I'm getting pissed off. I went, it's not funny. Who do you think did it? And they're trying to help me figure out who did it. And they couldn't keep their composure long enough. But the person I was asking for advice and was helping me, they were the ones that created the little gay KingHulk one.
That's another nice little username.
For the love of God, none of you better create that. Because my friend that did it, they did it because they wanted to keep the name KingHulk for me. That way no one else did it. But they had fun with it, and I took it as a joke after that. But then, the second my 29 days was up, they changed that name for me. And then I got my KingHulk back. But that other profile is still out there.
Oh, it's still out there? I thought it was deleted.
No, they didn't delete it. There's still a graphic of a Hulk. But now they changed it to Little Hulk. So there's a Little Hulk profile that makes them think I'm fine with that. But I got my KingHulk back.
Mine just came more or less, I don't want to say like an epiphany or anything like that, but it was like I was trying to come up with a better name than JVT85. And I was like, well, what are my...
You sound like you played junior varsity.
Yeah. And I was just like, well, what are some of my interests? And I was trying to think, okay, well, I like The Walking Dead, and I remember how much at the time TheGovernHer was a big villain in the comic books and on the show. It's like, And then I remember seeing this picture of this meme on Facebook with him in chains, and it's on my profile. It says torture gas. I was like, yes, that's it. And so I put in just TheGovernHer in there to see if it works. And of course, it's taken. Everyone's got it. So I was like, all right, well, I gotta change the lettering on this or how it's spelled, and I ended up doing both. So it's spelled funny, and the characters in it are a little funny, but that's what I got now, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, TheGovernHer.
Yep.
Now, if you ever get a Mrs., a good username for her, the Governor's Whore. Huh?
Actually, I had thought of doing it as, and I think this could backfire on me a little bit, but I thought it would be kind of cool if it would be like the Governor's Penny. If you're fans of the comic book, you get the reference in the show.
Isn't that his daughter?
It is, but what if it was like a baby girl daddy kind of thing?
I couldn't.
No? Now, granted, there's worse situations in the comic book than what they portrayed on the show. So that's why I was like, that could kind of backfire me.
That'll backfire you. Yeah, don't go with Governor's Penny.
Yeah, probably won't.
And I couldn't see you as a daddy.
It's something that I've thought about. It's something that I could be interested in.
You're too much of... I'm not calling you a little. There's another word I want to call you.
I think I know what this is, and I'm probably not going to like it, am I?
You know what
It's 4 words. It's 4 letters, isn't it?
4 letters?
Okay, maybe not.
Wait, what?
I thought you were going to call me something else, but I guess
What
not.
did you... Speak louder. What did you think I was going to call you?
I thought you were going to call me a brat.
No, you are not a brat.
Yeah. Okay.
2 words. You are a man.
Oh, you're a dick. Man-child. God.
Man-child's a lot better than little, but you have your moments.
I do not.
You've established that you're more of a switch.
Yeah.
So that's why you could be a man-child.
But how does that work?
I don't know.
That's going to stick, People who are listening to this, they're going to just like, oh, look, it's man-child. Oh,
if you want, I can bleep out every time we call you man-child.
I'm not changing my name on... I'm keeping
No. You are the governor. But I always call you a man-child. With affection.
Is it from... what is it?
No, it's not from Hangover.
It's not from Hangover.
They call him a child.
Oh, okay.
But I call you a man-child. Sometimes I even call you Grandpa Man-child.
I've not heard that one.
I've never said that one to your face before now.
Till now, yeah.
I was calling you Grandpa Man-child because you were refusing to create a PayPal.
Which I ended up doing
I
anyways.
know, but it's like you're a man-child because you're a man, but there are times when you can be a child.
I would like to hear some examples.
Recently you went on a cruise and one of your conditions was you have to get a pineapple that you can drink out of.
I had to get a coconut. That is
coconut.
That is not a man-child thing. I mean, come on, you're on a cruise, that's a normal thing. You drink out of a coconut when you go to the islands of the Bahamas. Yes? Am I wrong out there? Chirps?
They're not gonna... this isn't live.
I know it's not live, but I would think that they would side with me.
Okay,
that's not a man-child.
Okay, fine. You are a grown man, but sometimes you can be a little childish.
Okay, let's get... well, can you not be the same?
I can be too.
You don't see me calling you... Hulk child.
Remember when we went to see Minions? What were you wearing?
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
speak a little loud.
That was just a gag. Every time we go to the movies, I try to do something. Like when we saw Jurassic World, I put on the Jurassic World tourist guide pin, and then this one I had the Minions glasses on.
Goggles.
That made me look like a minion. What was it? Iron Man 3. I put on the arc reactor.
See that's you being a man, not a child.
Okay, so when we go from...
Jurassic World was you being a man, not a child.
All right. So depending on what movie we see makes me the man-child.
You can be pouty like a child at times.
All right. Example.
Pool parties.
Like?
The last time you were getting pouty about sleeping on the couch.
That aggravates me a little bit.
I know, but it's with affection. To me, man-child, that's like, you're a switch. You switch from dom mode to sub mode. Not even a sub mode. It's more of you going from a dom to bottoming.
Now, I'm glad you said that, because
you're not a sub, but
as of
you bottom.
Recently, I'm starting to identify more with not so much terms as dom and sub, but bottoming and topping. And I don't think I'll ever really associate myself
as one or the other,
or as dom or sub, or I mean, if the person who I'm playing with wants to, that's up to them. But
you're versatile.
I think I'm more comfortable with bottoming and topping, honestly.
I don't know. So apply that to man-child.
Okay.
Same. You go back and forth at times, but the little time when you could be Grandpa Man-child was how you're a man-child. But when it comes to technology, you're more like a grandpa. It's like you're anti-online banking.
Well,
PayPal. You don't trust Xbox. Like you don't trust certain companies with your credit card information, which I can give you that. Except for the part where I don't want to get into all that. The process you have to go to get DLC.
Oh.
Taking your card to a store to buy the DLC, to bring it home, to put in that code.
Yeah.
So your refusal to get a proper cell phone plan.
Well, I hate plans. I'm sorry. I don't like them.
And that's when you hit the grandpa mentality in a man's body, sometimes acting like a child. Grandpa man-child.
I don't know why.
Which I think we need to pitch that to Cartoon Network.
Well, I was thinking that same thing because as soon as you said that, I'm thinking of that image
Uncle Grandpa?
Yeah, I'm like, God.
I've never seen that show. I just know the title. But you could be a character on that show as Grandpa Man-child.
I don't think so.
Then, hey, you just apply with us. Well, you could be on Looney Tunes as Baby Huey.
I don't know what you're talking about there, but I mean...
Mr. having incriminating photos under your bed.
Do you not have ones of me either?
I do not have incriminating pictures of you.
Oh, I'm going to Photoshop.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Oh, we got a couple now. All of a sudden he can remember.
Yeah, now my memory is coming back to me. I'm sorry, you were getting needle play, staples
removed.
You had staples removing out of your leg, and you're just holding your hand like you're about to bite into it, like you were white-knuckling a cock.
I didn't know. It was my first time.
I
didn't know what to expect.
In my defense, I didn't take those pictures. Someone else did. They just happened to catch it at that right moment.
Thanks. And you know who you are.
Night. So do I have to go back and censor all the man-childs? People are going to wonder, what the hell are they talking about?
I could let it go.
If you want, I'll cut that whole segment out.
I could let it go.
It's a term of endearment.
I can let it go.
Your refusal to do something that I can't talk about anymore.
What's that? I'm confused. Something that...
We agreed that I would not bring it up ever again, and I didn't mean to bring it up here, but your refusal to drive...
Oh.
Which this isn't the forum for it, and I'm respecting your choice for it.
I'm still open. That can change, but I don't have a definite time frame from when it will change.
You don't have the pressure to do it, so that's fine. So you recently wrote a writing on FET that got a lot of traction, kind of.
Not as most as some, but some people noticed it.
Would you care to talk about your writing?
Yeah, I'll...
Because you were literally... I've been saying it for a while when I describe you to people. 2 words. Mm-hmm. Not man-child.
Okay.
But I always say he's a nice guy.
All right.
And you could even go by that title of Mr. Nice Guy.
If you could get the rights to play No More Mr. Nice Guy from Alice Cooper on the show, that would be awesome. You probably technically could. I think as long as you play less than a certain amount of time, you could use it.
Maybe you can give us your rendition of it. How's it go?
No, we're not doing it.
I can auto-tune it.
We're not doing it.
Because if people pay attention after the music ends on episode 3, Nightingale does a little singing and I auto-tuned it.
Nah.
I can auto-tune you.
I'm not doing it.
Not doing it?
Yeah, not gonna do it. Yeah, it's a writing that's both self-reflective and also it's what I called a... Oh, crap, what did I call it? It was... Shit. I forgot what I called it. Something service announcement. Public service announcement. That's what it was called. It was pretty much about guys out there who are exactly like me, who have trouble conveying and relaying intimacy and sexuality, I guess. Like, we're the guys who don't really make the first move. I don't really find it fair for you to say that we're submissives in that sense.
No, it's like, if anything, you're being completely equal. Because there's always stereotypes of men have to be the aggressor.
Yeah.
But honestly, I will admit, I'm almost the same way as you, in which I don't like making the first move unless I know with 100% confidence I'm not going to get slapped in the face.
My thing more or less now is I am so consent-based that it's become almost a hindrance to me now. Not to say, that kind of sounds bad, but in a way that, like, people who have OCD to the point where they have to do the rituals throughout their daily life before they can even proceed to the next thing. To me, it's where I can't make, we'll say, the move or initiate any kind of play, so to speak, on my own because it's a consent thing. It's unless I know the woman makes a move, so to speak, to me first, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's open. Or, it's kind of like this to and fro kind of thing. You get to see, she's allowing you to do these things, and she's accepting of what you're doing, and then I get a better feeling of it. But it has to be that first initial step that's got to be made to me by the woman. It sounds very selfish. I know it doesn't sound very good at all, but that's what I'm comfortable with. I don't know. I would like to think there's other guys out there like me, but if not,
I bet that's how I used to be. I don't know if I ever told you this, but whenever I was in college and I was hanging out with women I was interested in, did I ever tell you what my move, that I'm quoting in the air move, because it really was not a move, but it was so much as me just flat out telling them nothing's going to happen unless I'm setting up the T-ball for them to either hit it or walk away. Did I ever tell you what I would do?
Maybe. I can't remember.
I would just ask a simple question. I don't even like to repeat this because looking at myself now, I've come a long way from what I used to do. And that was when I'm getting a good vibe from a woman back then, I used to just ask them, is it okay if I kiss you now? I would flat out ask it. I would literally be sitting on the couch watching TV with them for hours before finally getting enough courage to just pull the trigger and ask, hey, is it okay if I kiss you now? And then they would either they would say no, and that's when I would get a clear sign of I am clearly in the friend zone. How dare I try to get out?
See, that's I can't even go that far. And I know recently I've had some talks with some people who tried it, because another thing that I suck at is flirting. I can't do it. It doesn't register to me if even people who flirt with me.
See, I'm the opposite. I flirt too much.
And you could try to tell me...
I will flirt with anybody, people I'm not interested in, people I am interested in. I don't know what's wrong with me.
You can try to tell me the best you can how to flirt and how to understand when someone's flirting to you till you're blue in the face. You can tell me, if a girl toys with her hair, if someone leans into you, if your leg points a certain way. I can't, no. Instead of just playing the straightforward game, hey, I like you, let's do something. Why do we have to do this? Well, let's see if I can do these weird gestures and see if he understands.
Okay, then why don't you just do exactly what you just said?
Yeah, but again, it's on both ends. It's not just a guy thing; it's also a woman thing.
Because then, if a guy doesn't do it, you would say they're looked at more submissively, kind of. But if a woman says, hey, let's do something, and they're the aggressor, then they feel as if that makes them look bad, too.
Well, that kind of brought up the second point of the note, was that, or the writing that I did, was that it's the ones where there are people who are the confident people, or women, or whoever, whatever your orientation may be. They're either the confident ones that we'll say in this scenario, it's a woman, and she's the aggressor to the guy. There's the difference between there's the confident ones, and then I probably should have not used this word, but I used the word crazies. The ones that will do it all the time. They're the guaranteed ones to do it. And the thing was more or less I was trying to. Apparently, I've had a bad rep for allegedly attracting the crazies.
No, I've set you up with some. But we all go through that.
Yeah, and I did start it off that if you're a guy out there who's not had a batch of them, more power to you. That's amazing. But
at the same time, men will go through a streak of crazy women, and women will go through a streak of assholes.
That's
assholes
true. That's very fair to say.
So there is an opposite to it.
There is. I mean, there's the yin to the yang. It's a double-edged sword. So the overall initial thing of the writing was it was also not like a self-reflection of myself, but also to say, hey, if you're like me out there, then you should look for these things when you're trying to find a suitable play partner or in a relationship. Learn to avoid these things and hope for the better. But yeah, for the most part, that's what it was.
So do you think after we're done here, do you think you might go back and edit it a little?
I should.
And
it would be a good idea.
And I'll probably end up posting a link to it. That way our listeners could give it a read as well.
Sure. I mean, it's nothing long. It's you're not reading a book.
That's what she said.
That's what they all say.
So how do you feel your first FetCast has gone?
Not too bad. Pretty cool.
Well, once again, I'd like to give a shout out to the True King podcast for helping us out with everything that they do in promoting us. So, do you have any closing statements before we get out of here? Heading to a munch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we are going to a munch. Which, if you've been listening since episode 1, hopefully you have found your closest and local munch. And hopefully you've been having a good time with that and getting to meet new people. So do you have any closing words?
I hope that maybe be on here again sometime and discuss other topics.
Definitely. Do you have a sign-off you want to do? Maybe you could do a better sign-off than Nightingale.
I don't know. What did she do?
Oh yeah, that is right. Here we are recording episode 5, and you haven't listened to any episodes.
Well, I'll be totally honest.
But to be fair, only episode 1 and 2 is up as we are recording this.
I'll be totally honest with you. I was waiting to record one before I started listening to them.
So you're going to start listening to them now?
I'm going to start listening to them now.
Okay. Well, Nightingale, she did not prepare a sign-off. So at the end of her episode
I don't have
2...
one prepared either.
The last thing... Because I told her the last thing you say on this show will be the last thing you have to say every time.
Oh, jeez.
And she said, oh, shit. I ended the show. The second episode, I gave her another chance, and she couldn't come up with something, but she said, oh, shit, and I ended it. So what do you have to say? And I hope you don't steal mine, because...
Well, what is yours? Just so I know not to use it.
Until next time, stay kinky. I'm proud of that sign-off.
It's not bad. I don't have anything. Signing off?
Your sign-off is signing off.
Unless I come up with something better next time, if you give me a second chance, but...
You know what? I will give everyone 3 strikes. So next time Nightingale's on, she has to step up. Alright? So you are now doing what?
I'm just going to go with signing off on this one.
So you are...
Signing off.
Until next time, stay kinky.
We just a player. What to play on play? Oh, we just a player. Whoa. Play on player, yeah.
I didn't mean to bring that subject up.
It's alright. I'm okay.
We could really talk about man-child, and this has nothing to do with the BDSM lifestyle
Pretty
at
much,
all.
Yeah.
But
Some of this might have to be edited.
I remember the first time I took you grocery shopping, and you bought ice cream first.
I don't remember buying ice cream first.
That was the first thing you put in the cart, and then you spent an hour grocery shopping.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Closer.
I remember.
And it got to the point, anyway.